The market opens in a complete different position as it did on Monday. Today we're going to be breaking down all of that and potentially what Vladimir Putin and the Putin pump might be for Bitcoin. Don't miss it. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. I want to jump into it today. We're going to be having a special trader on. We'll look at a handful of tokens. Take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. That's one of the hot ones I think that a lot of people have been asking about, so we wanted to bring that to you guys. Give you a full rundown on it. I do want to thank our sponsor today, and that is Coinbase. This is a place for centralized trading, and it is one of the places for people who are coming to crypto for the first time, or if you're just out there and you're thinking, hey, this is a place I want to do park my tokens. Of course, all you have to do is visit Coinbase.com. The future of money is here, the most trusted place for businesses to buy, sell, and use crypto. And of course, one of the things that you can do, of course, with Coinbase, I don't know if you guys know this, is that you can actually stake on Coinbase. So if you are not interested in staking within wallets, you can do that within your Coinbase account. So use our link down below, get $200 in crypto when you sign up. It's a great tool. And if you're brand new to crypto, or maybe you're just a guy that's been trading on a lot of different platforms and you've never opened a Coinbase account, this is the time to do it. Check it out. Let's go into a couple of things I do want to open up with our trader, and that is coming in from Trading Parrot. Mariano, great to have you back.
Hi, Paul. How are you doing?
Doing great, doing great. So a lot of activity today. I want to jump to some of the big news, and then I want to take a look at the Bitcoin chart. This, of course, was coming in from Watcher Guru just in. Vladimir Putin signs a law legalizing crypto mining in Russia. This is kind of I think an issue that has been looked at for quite some time. Obviously, Russia organizing under BRICS, what we could see as something for de-dollarization. If you look at some other things within Russia that has been organized, one of the things around what they had done around crypto was mostly where it was not available for general investors, but it was available for oligarchs. So that has changed now. And you'll notice someone in the picture there, that of course is the Ethereum founder. And I think that is one that could change things up if in fact we get something like that could connect that into something like BRICS. What I'm curious on is how does this play into what you see with Bitcoin right now?
So at the moment, we are seeing kind of a V recovery, at least for the short term. And what I'm trying to see is how we react to 60K. That's a really critical level. Let me show you some charts to see what could be next. The first thing that I'm looking at was this CME gap. Historically, it's no doubt that we have respected and filled most of the CME gaps that are formed not just over the weekend. Like, for example, this one was filled halfway through the week. And when we were dumping from 65K, actually from 70K, we went all the way to 49.4. And we left here a massive gap that was actually, in my point of view, was really great news, because that was giving us high likelihood that this was going to revert to 60K. So now the question is, at this 60K, is the price just coming to fill the gap and then potentially put a lower low after this, or are we going to see strength and then continuation to the upside? So for that, what I'm looking, after we have completed already our target on the RSI for our of RSI 60, that's already gone. What I'm looking next is on this breakout on the daily. That's very interesting to see. The problem is that this candle is just the candle of a single day. It's very explosive. We have seen today this move on the price, and it's I wish the breakout wasn't that far away already, because it's kind of leaving us behind. Normally, my trading is to wait for a close before entering into a position, but I think that the right thing to do now is to wait for this to close today to confirm that we close above this trend line, and then look for a higher low. That could be the next entry for continuation to the upside. But so far, it's showing incredible strength following the market. The next thing I'm looking at is what's going on with deposits and withdrawals from large holders. For a long period of time, we have seen sustained massive deposits from whales, and that is what's completely oppressing the price at this range. but now seeing the initial signs of recovery, because we are seeing that we are breaking down from this trend line, approaching the MA. Hopefully, we can get into this ratio of 1, which means that deposits and withdrawals are equal in ratio. It will be a good sign accumulation, and people are starting to feel more confident on what's coming for Bitcoin. The other thing that has me really excited today is to finally see that the interest over time on Bitcoin is spiking and very aggressively together with the price. We went today from 24 to 40 on Google Trends, and that is something that was just trending down for months and months.
I was just looking at our chart. This is our MSI indicator that is an indicator that we've built. If you guys are part of our membership, you guys have access to it. One thing that we are looking at this stop right here is a little bit of the sentiment data that's starting to move on Bitcoin. This is on the 4-hour, so not a bad look on the chart right now in terms of upward trend as it starts to approach 60K, trading at 59 right now on Bitcoin. So kind of interesting to see this movement. All right, so when you look at things that are happening in the market right now, news typically moves tokens pretty quickly. This news, of course, was one that I think everybody was looking at, and that is Ripple's case is finally over. They get slapped on the hand with a penalty of $125 million. I know that sounds like a lot, but remember, the SEC was going for $2 billion, and it ended up with $125 million. So Judge Torres really kind of repositioned the whole framework around this, and this is now over. And of course, XRP is responding. What do you like on the XRP chart right now in terms of, say, the next 30 to 60 days?
So in order to answer that, I would like to look both at the daily and the weekly chart for XRP, particularly in this area in here where people started hearing about the news. We know we have a massive breakout from an area of 0.46. We went all the way to 0.66. And I remember in the past video we were together, we were at this top, and I was mentioning, careful guys, because we are at the top of the range. Rejection right here is going to be considered a liquidity grab, and we want to close the daily above the top of the range. We didn't do that, and unfortunately that was another rejection very similar to many others we have had in the past with XRP, so I got used to that, and we saw a rejection of 34%. Since then we went all the way to the bottom of the range, and now we are back in here thanks to the good news. But what I'm monitoring very closely to not get, a dump again on is this trend line on the RSI. So what I want to see is I want today to close the RSI above this line, and the highest we close, of course, the most significant, it will be for me the breakout of the momentum. That is on the daily to understand whether this is a valid breakout, some healthy breakout that I can consider that it could have a longer lifetime than the one we had before, because it almost reverted all the profits. And on the weekly, what I'm looking at is that what happened that week that I consider really bad was just a retest. On the weekly, we broke out on the 8th of July, we made it to 57, came back to retest the trend line at 48, which I find fascinating. I didn't see it on the previous video, but this is incredible good news because it's bouncing from the support, and this is a breakout with accumulation that spans all the way from the 10th of July of 2023. Impressive, and I hope that on the close of this week, this candle makes a new high in this area around here. That will be really significant for XRP.
I want to go to a couple of other things. I was looking at one of your tweets, and it was this one right here. How broken or different is Ethereum this cycle? And there was a few things that you were looking at in your video, but when we look at Ethereum in general, many people have said, all right, ETH is dead, kind of tongue in cheek. ETH is not responding against Bitcoin. There's all the complaint that it's not moving at the same pace. How and what is your current play on Ethereum?
Recently on Ethereum, I've been mostly focusing on what's doing against BTC. Of course, we want to be properly distributed if we are holding a portfolio of different cryptocurrencies. I had some BTC, I have tons of Ethereum, so I'm quite interested on Ethereum doing well in this market. I think Ethereum is definitely going to make all-time highs, but now my main focus is how it's going to perform against Bitcoin. And for that, I look into the Ethereum BTC chart on the weekly, and I'm observing a bunch of patterns. Many of these patterns came from my ideas, but they are combined with some ideas that came from Benjamin Cowen. So I want to give some credits to him as well. Two things that I'm observing. The number one pattern is this pattern where we have first a high. For example, in this market, in the bear market in 2015, we have a high around here on the 3rd of August. Then we started holding for a period, and then we broke down in the summer. That moment that we break down is the moment where, well, the whales are accumulating, and that's the most explosive move. You can see that here there's 1,500% that is at the top of end of the bull market of 2017. So it's very important to be able to appreciate these very difficult to spot patterns, but so important. For example, here we have the same pattern. We kick in on the early bull run, and that's on the 24th of February, 2020. Then somewhere around here, there's the COVID crash, and then we come back to retest that high. We can see it much clearer. I hope you can see it, guys, around here. So we have the two bubbles. And the difference is that in this bull market, we never had the same pattern. We never broke down early, and we never managed to come for a retest because there wasn't that pattern in this particular market. So it's very difficult now to forecast what's going to be the next move for Ethereum BTC, because we don't have the same point of reference that we used to have in the previous markets. But if we were speculating that this capitulation that we have in this bubble coincides with this second bubble from the previous two cycles, what we should be expecting is a move towards the 0.5 Fibonacci, which is located at 0.064 right now on the value of Ethereum versus BTC. And why the 0.5? Because the previous cycle, the 0.5 of the previous cycle was the high of 2021. So if we were to repeat the past performance, just as an idea, right? Past performance doesn't guarantee the same results. But if we were to do the same from this bottom, and if we can call this the final capitulation of Ethereum against BTC, it looks promising to me to think that we could do that as well.
So there's a couple of things that are happening right now. Obviously, you could play ETH a lot of different ways. You could put call options in on it. You could go the route of even looking at polymarket and going in on this. I'm looking at just here on August 7th, we had a 30% opportunity. But if you look at back here all the way to the 1st of August, just last week, we were talking about a 39% chance of Ethereum hitting all-time highs. Right now, the bet is around a 25% chance, even though it's up a little bit, but around 21. Here's my question: do you think we're going to hit an all-time high? Do you think we're going to get it in this year, in 2024, for Ethereum?
I think that totally, in this case, depends on BTC. That's a different question, difficult question, because in this case, we are talking about a proportion of 0.06 against BTC. So depending, for example, if that means that if BTC makes it this year to 100K, then with that delay of potentially 1 or 2 months after, you typically get the all-time high of Ethereum. So that will put Ethereum in at $6,000 if it respects the 0.5 Fibonacci I was talking earlier before.
Right. So a lot of dependency on Bitcoin to see that happen. But to your point, you were kind of getting into the phase of how this could affect altcoin season. Then you look at the opportunities with altcoins, Solana being one of them. And if you look at the comparison right now, I mean, this is news right now on Brazil approving the launch of the spot ETF on Solana in Brazil. Now, it doesn't mean there's going to be a lot of volume here, but the point is that we're starting to see countries that are looking at Solana as an opportunity. With that being the case, do you like Solana right now as a trade over Ethereum? If somebody's coming into the market maybe for the first time and they're thinking, I need to buy an altcoin, is it going to be Ethereum or is it going to be Solana?
I mean, with full honesty, Solana left me behind. I still have a bag of Solana, but it's not as significant as the one I have with Ethereum. And now by looking at this chart, I feel a little bit left behind, right? Because we are seeing on Solana a breakout from the top of the range. And that is very impressive. We are at 0.06. Interesting that we are seeing again this number. There's a 0.06 for Bitcoin and again for Solana. But if on the weekly, because this is a weekly chart, we were to close above this range, that will be a breakout. But this is a very specific breakout as well on the RSI that we can see here below. It's a breakout of a continuation. The price has already moved to the top of the range. It's been knocking on the top, trying to break out above it, and it hasn't been able to do it since December. Many times it tried just because it had resistance from the previous bull market. And eventually the momentum did it, and it did it on the 22nd of July. At that point, the price didn't do it yet, so it did a final attempt, and now we are in the week that we are about to confirm if the breakout is gonna stay above it. Of course, the typical recommendation, if you are to enter in Solana, this is very high risk to enter right here, because it could be, again, a liquidity grab and dump us once again back into this trend line at 0.05. So I wouldn't enter there. But if I was holding Solana and I was here, this is the highest likelihood that we have ever had to break out and do a continuation to the upside. Why am I saying it's a breakout of continuation? Because we have two breakouts. One breakout was from the bear market. You can see the price is coming down, the momentum is coming down. You get the breakout, and that is the beginning of the accumulation period into the new bull market. This breakout that we have here, the price has already moved to the top of the range, and it's just trying to exit from this range. So hopefully, I think this is the highest likelihood that we have ever had to break out and to define a new range. This is price exploration. That's why I have my Fibonacci extension here, getting very close to the 0.618 golden pocket. That could be an area where we could see some reversal for a retest. Then we have the level 1 that will give us 0.08, and very exciting levels. If you're bullish on Solana, potentially we could get to the 0.08. That's very that could be on the table at the moment.
Avalanche is the other one I want to talk about. Avalanche's price bounced 14%. So AVAX bears hibernate. Is the trend starting to shift? Now, many people look at Avalanche almost in the way of Ethereum, that it doesn't necessarily move in alignment with a lot of the other altcoins. When you look at AVAX as a whole, what is your position right now on AVAX?
So again, on AVAX, I would like to look in the daily and the weekly. I got good news for you guys, because on the weekly, we are still not breaking out. So we can see that relative to what we saw with Solana, we have one point of touch here, another point of touch in there, and the RSI is still at the lows, busy building a double bottom at a level of 39 on the RSI. So hopefully this double bottom is the one that is going to take us into the resistance at an RSI of 50 on the weekly, potentially to see if we have altcoin season coming in. Now look more in detail, and we go to the daily. Let me clear out these lines that are from the weekly. Recently, we saw this breakdown. We found a double bottom in here, and we bounced off this level of 26, and we retested, and we are continuing with this breakout, getting to level 40. So I think this is a healthy breakout from the bottom of the range, and it could be the breakout that helps us build up the remaining move that we need to get for a weekly breakout. That weekly breakout is the most meaningful one. What I'm looking at right now is that the delta, This is the number of longs versus shorts, and we're getting this level of resistance very quickly here at 44. What I would like to see, ideally, is that this continues and finally surpasses that level, retest, and goes to the top of the range. If I'm already in a trade here, that will be the healthiest thing to do for the price, to guarantee that we get to the top and then we can close that swing trade if we are doing a swing trade. I'm thinking about entering right now for accumulation for the rest of the bull market, and I'm willing to wait for a year or so. It doesn't really matter, but this fine-tuning is ideal if you want to secure an entry that goes quickly into profit.
You look at Jupiter, and Jup, I think, is one of those tokens. This is one that, you know, I personally like and invest in. Not investment advice, but when I look at these exchanges and the popularity of what's been happening within the Solana ecosystem, Jupiter, of course, has just been super elegant. Now, of course, we've got 30% of Jup tokens now to be burned. What does your chart show right now with Jupiter?
On the weekly, I see a very interesting chart in here. There's a lot of ranging during this period. I think there must be some news that are holding the price for a potential breakout to the upside, but still not dumping as hard as many other tokens. The Jupiter started with hitting an all-time high at 1.8. That was in April this year. Since then, entered this range. And one of the things that is calling my attention is that from the bottom of the range, we're seeing very quickly the token getting bought up from the bottom of the range. Very different to the price action that we saw during July. In July, we kind of held the bottom, then we got bought up, and that was a massive fake out, right? Meaning people probably got dumped from $1.1 back into this area in here. So hopefully this is a great sign, but basically on the weekly, getting bought like this is promising that we could now attempt to hit the top of the range at $1.3 once again. But let's look into the daily to see shorter term plays, because weekly takes quite a long time to play out. At the moment, we were outside the range on the 5th of August. Then we recovered it. We retested today. Today, we came back for a retest of 0.76. That's really healthy. And on the RSI, we are currently in progress consolidating this candle that is a breakout candle on the RSI. So that's very good timing for Jupiter. I can see that the longs are still at 39. So we can say below the lower range, not too many longs in the party already enjoying. So this now what it needs to do is it needs to get above the level of 0.88. That's current. This is our current resistance. It's the toughest level that we need to conquer. What we don't want is a rejection at 0.88 and back to the lows. That wouldn't be necessarily the end of anything. It's just that it might come back for a double bottom before it try to hit the high. So careful with the 0.68 if you want to enter with a position. Ideally, we want to see that this breaks above it and retests that level so we can ride it in a similar way like we did in this area in here.
All of that being a good one. Make sure and check out the Trading Parrot. You guys can visit his YouTube channel and subscribe to his channel. Mariano, it's always great having you on. Thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
You bet. All right, so you guys, if you're not in the Diamond Circle, make sure and jump in right now. It's a great place to get additional content. We do additional trading, but we also do some podcasts over there that we don't put here on the YouTube channel. So all you have to do is look, just click the link down below. It will get you there. And we also have a group in there that I'm involved in quite a bit. So I chat directly with our members. Make sure and once you're in that, you'll be able to get an invite to it. Of course, follow me out there on X, @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.